And so, hey, everybody, good
Welcome,
afternoon.
welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. This afternoon, we have a special guest. We have Char from Georgia. All right, you're on the air.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for allowing me to come on the podcast. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you and for us to really talk about what is going on in the world and, how we're going to impact the stop of genocide in American ghettos. So my company is iBrand and Design and Poof Printing. And my backstory is that excuse me, my mother was a seamstress and my father was a general contractor. So it was a very quite natural happenstance for me to be a brand strategist. So my mother, she went ahead and did all types of graphic design work. And my father, being a general contractor, was very meticulous about doing things and moving things from one aspect of a project to another. So I came by that skill set quite naturally. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that when you are working on your business, you have to be very, very focused on listening to the situation around you, and you need to be flexible and be willing to pivot. So, right now, my focus is on designing your masterpiece. And designing your masterpiece is really what I am doing with my life, right? So, I I have very I have a couple different facets of my life that kind of drive the direction that I'm going in. But the main thing that I get focused on is how it's all going to come together at the end and how I'm going to be able to use that to create sustainability, economic empowerment through ownership. So some of the things that I have focused on, believe it or not, has nothing really to do with my exact business, but it's with my garden. When it comes down to designing a masterpiece, your masterpiece is just like your garden. It requires you to plan out what it is you want to do and the type of harvest you want for your life and for your company. So with designing your masterpiece and my garden, I look at the different aspects of what needs to be done. And then I go ahead and very strategically plan out how I want to execute that. So the reason why I have two different brands that I manage, one is iBrand and Design, and the other one being Poof Printing. I do two main things in my company. I design and I print or produce. When I'm designing something, I am looking to plant those seeds in the ground, right? So I go ahead and I work with my customers and I figure out what is their final outcome? What is the harvest that they want to yield for their company? And so I use the analogy of my garden to deal with how I deal with my business. So if you come to me and you say, okay, my final outcome is that I want to be able to have more visibility with my podcast, I'm going to look at what seeds we need to plant. For example, you want to have an intro on your podcast, right? And that intro is going to be able to tell about who you are and how people can get in contact with you. In addition to that, we're going to jump all the way to the end and we're going to say, well, you also need to have an outro as you are leaving your podcast. How do you want people again to remember you? So, iBrand and Design is focused on creating instant consumer recognition. So, by doing that, we look at all of the different seeds that we need to plant in the ground to be able to achieve, excuse me, to be able to achieve that outcome. So that's the primary way that I look at my business and designing your masterpiece is the analogy and tying it back to my garden and saying, okay, what do I want to harvest in the fall? Um, last weekend, I had some ladies over to my house. I'm in a garden club. And when they come over, they had an assignment. They were helping me build out my flower garden, right? And so they went ahead and planted all of these things in my garden. Well, I was telling my cousin about it, and she goes, how does it look? I said, it looks horrible right now because it's really not for this year. I'm planting those seeds and letting them germinate and settle and grow. And next year, that flower bed will be able to bloom and look the way that I envision it to look. So, one of the things when it comes to branding and your business, you have to have a vision. You have to know exactly where you're going and what you want the final outcome to be. Once you do that, and then you can go ahead and start deciding, okay, what seeds do you want to put in the ground? For example, when it comes down to branding, what do you want your logo to look like? Right? How do you want people to remember you? Your logo does not have to be your entire brand. Your logo is basically that X that is used to immediately recognize your brand. A lot of people create a logo, and what they want to do is put every single piece and every single element of their business and their mission or their product inside of their logo. They don't have to do that. A logo just has to be something very, very simple that people can easily recognize you. When you're dealing with your logo, you want to have less is more. The Nike swoosh is one of the most powerful examples I can think of as a very, very recognizable logo. When you see Tiger Woods with that hat on, well, now he has WT, right? Or TW as his own personal brand. But years ago, when you saw Tiger with that hat on and it had that swoosh on it, there was no doubt in your mind that he was representing the Nike brand. So when you create your logo for yourself, try to remember that less is more, and it is better. It's going to be easier for people to be able to identify you. A simplified logo is more transferable from anything that you're using on the web as your fave icon or on a piece of apparel, or even when you're doing printed collateral such as banners or business cards, anything like that. So you really want to be able to keep your logo very, very simplified. Some of the other things that you want to think about, is the visibility of what you're doing and how that shapes your identity. Well, one of the most powerful aspects of creating a strong visual brand identity is color. You don't just pick color randomly because you may like purple or orange or tangerine or green. When you pick your color, you should be researching what is the emotional impact of that color on people. So I don't know how many people can relate to who was Big Blue back in the day. This is back in the 70s, so I'm aging myself, right? Or actually the 80s too. Well, who was Big Blue? Well, Big Blue was IBM. IBM was the most corporate thing that we had in my era growing up. So nowadays, you see that there are a lot of companies that are using blue as their primary color. So blue represents corporate. It represents calm, it represents consistency. So by looking at the color that you select, you are now invoking an emotional response with your consumer when they look at you. Have you ever wondered why Chick-fil-A and Wendy's and some of these other food chains are red? Very, very simple. Red invokes a sense of urgency. I'm hungry, feed me. I'm hungry, feed me. I'm hungry, feed me. And so again, when you look at your colors, think about what is the emotional impact that it's going to have with your consumers. Another thing that's very important in branding is your brand voice and your brand messaging. Again, I'm going to age myself, but it's okay. I'm happy to be this age. Where's the beef? Where's the beef? I don't care where anybody that most people that are my age that grew up here in the United States of America, and you say to them, where's the beef? They're going to say Wendy's. If I say just do it, you're going to say Nike, right? So, your brand messaging and your brand voice also is very, very much a part of your brand identity. By honing in on what you want people to do with your brand messaging and your brand voice, it again triggers an emotional response. So, with Wendy's and Where's the Beef, they were trying to let you know that, hey, we've got the beef. We don't know what these other guys have, right? So when you want to eat some real meat, you come on over to Wendy's, and because we have the beef for you. When you hear just do it with Nike, what that means is that don't be afraid to tackle the big things. Let's get active. Let's just do it. Do it is an action word. So Nike really wanted you to know that no matter what part of their brand you were interacting with, be it their shoes or a sweatshirt or anything, they wanted you to be able to be active. Just do it, right? So, when you think about again the three things we've talked about before so far is your logo, right? And then your colors, and then your brand voice. Well, these are all seeds that you're planting in the ground, right? So when you go ahead and look at any of these things individually, just think about them as a little seed. When you're working on your brand identity, don't try to do the whole thing. You want to go ahead and create little seeds, right? You want to make sure that your logo is an asset that can stand on its own. That is one seed that you are planting in designing your entire masterpiece. Then the other seed is, okay, your colors. Take the time out to pick your brand colors and make sure that you understand the meaning of your brand colors and that you can anticipate the type of emotional response that you're going to be able to get from your consumers or potential consumers. And then the third thing is, where's the beef? I'm sorry, your messaging. What kind of emotional response are you going to invoke with consumers? So if you say, again, I'm using old school stuff, but if you say those two things, just do it or where's the beef, there is a direct correlation going back to the brand that actually is utilizing and promoting those things. So I think one of the last things that I want to share with everybody and leave them with is your online digital footprint. A lot of times people don't pay enough attention to their online digital footprint. They don't recognize that whatever their domain name, whatever their business name is, number one, it should be easy to read, easy to spell, very memorable, and easily recognizable. Some of the ways you achieve that, which is part of your brand messaging, is that you go ahead and identify a domain name that will allow you to use it also as your social media handle. So this way, when you say to people, you can find me online at Poof Printing, that means you can find me at poofprinting.com. You can find me on Instagram at poofprinting.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. You'll be able to find Poof Printing or iBrand and Design. And so another part of doing your digital footprint is try to make sure that you are picking a digital footprint that is 14 characters or less. People don't have long memories. They're not going to, even though it may be your business name. For example, I had one customer, her company, her brand name, her church name was Interfaith Women's Alliance. And I had to caution her about getting that as a domain name because not everybody knows how to spell inner. Some people spell it with one N, some people spell it with two. And I guarantee you, if you ask the majority of people how to spell alliance, they're going to get it wrong, right? So I said to her, well, we really don't want to use that. Well, her tagline is that, we care about the people that we serve. And I said to her, well, how about we use IWA Cares? So IWACARES, 8 characters, right? But it was represented who she was because the IWA stands for Interfaith Women's Alliance. So many times you can go ahead and look at what your tagline is or what your mission is, or that thing that is very meaningful or representative of your company, and use that as your domain name. So now, once you go ahead and find something that can be your domain name, make sure it is also available as your social media handles. So when you say to people, you can find me online at IWA Cares, it can be iwacares.org, .com, your Instagram, your Facebook, etc., all of your different social media platforms. So that's my primary messages to you today, is to make sure that just like in a garden, you take the time out to create and cultivate every single piece of your brand identity individually. So this way, when you put it together, you have a very recognizable brand that can attract consumers to you and to do business with you. So again, my name is Char Ross. You can find me online at I am Char, Char, Ross, ROSS.com. And you can find me on all platforms like that, or you can find either one of my businesses, iBrand and Design or Poof Printing, online at any of the different platforms. So I want to thank you again, Emmanuel, for bringing me on. And at this point, I would like to turn this back over to you.
Well, thank you very much for coming on this platform. And whenever you feel led about coming back in the near future, feel free to do so.
Most definitely.
Also, I'm interested in trying to do business with you once, I'm able to raise the capital for my film project, because I do need a graphic designer and all that good stuff. And so I would like to discuss business with you then.
Okay, well, let me tell you one of the things that I do for people that are in that place where they're starting up and they find that they really need to be able to manage their finances or their expenses, and they really need to do things themselves. I offer a consultation package where I will go ahead and do it with you. So if you go, once you go ahead and take the lead and say, okay, this is the thing that I need to work on, my skill set and my knowledge base is broad enough that I can work with most people on any projects that they are looking to accomplish. So if you're looking to create, like I said, an intro or outro or a website for yourself, or a logo for yourself, instead of being able to bring me on to be able to do it for you, you can go ahead and partner with me where I'll do it with you. That becomes much, much more cost effective to you. And at the same time, you're able to go ahead and make the headway in getting the thing accomplished that you want to do without waiting until you have a larger sum of money to work with.
I understand.
Okay, so I can offer that to anybody that is interested for $157, which is a very reasonable amount. We'll do 3 1-hour sessions over 3 week period. It'll be a Zoom consultation, and I'm going to be hands on with you. So not a lot of people know that you can do screen sharing and remote controlling over Zoom. So we can definitely do that, and I'll be able to help take your mouse and move your mouse around for you on your computer. It's completely safe. And then I can help show you some of the things that you may not have known that you could do within that software package or that application so you can get it finished.
Wow, that's beautiful that you got those skills.
I got a couple. I got a couple. So
Yes.
thank you.
Now, before we close, I want to know, tell my listeners again how they can find your website and stuff like that.
So on the screen underneath my picture is what you call my lower third.
Mm-hmm.
On my lower third, you have my name, two of my different brands that I do, and a QR code that will take you directly to those website. Underneath that, you see my name again, and then you have iBrand and Design and Poof Printing. You can find me online by domain name or any social media platforms at either iBrand and Design or at Poof Printing.
Oh wow, that is wonderful. That's wonderful. Anything else you want to say?
No, I just again want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your podcast and prayerfully the things that I've shared has been beneficial to many as far as how to establish and grow their brand identity. And one of these days, if y'all are ever here in Georgia, y'all can hit me up and I will walk you through my garden. I actually have a garden outside that window too.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we close this podcast, I would like for you to please mark your calendar for Saturday, May 30th. We are going to be talking about the death of Fred Hampton
Mm,
and how Black grassroots organizations can learn from what happened to him. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're serious about participating, then just also I'm looking for five people to be on my panel first and foremost, because when we do the monthly virtual interactive conference, is so that way we can have a real conversation. I want to connect with all of my listeners. I'm not just on here just running off at the mouth. I want to interact with you all. So participation is important. So mark your calendars. It will be at 2 o'clock p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. It's going to be on YouTube Live, right? So that's important. And also, again, I'm going to try to encourage people to, listen to the whole virtual interactive conference side A. That's where I do my pep talk. I'm going to let you know um, about our film project, the importance of us raising the funds. We're trying to raise $250,000. All right. So that way we can take our story to the big screen.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I want the whole black world to know my story. I'm sick and tired of sitting up here in Chicago being overlooked when I have
Hmm.
something a positive vision that I'm trying to do for our people that's in the low income black community.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
right now
Absolutely.
I'm unable to hire people because I don't have the capital. Why I don't have the capital? Because my book is barely selling. Please, ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's listening to this podcast, right, this video podcast right now, all I want you to do is read my story for yourself. Quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available in two forms. It's available as an ebook for $9.99, and it's also available as a softcover book, which is what I'm holding, for $15 plus shipping and handling. All I want you to do is read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, specifically Black Chicago, you will automatically become a GERCAM member, because I wrote this book in order to recruit brave and smart, like minded Black Americans, brave and smart, like minded African immigrants throughout the United States of America. That's what we on over here. We're not on here playing games. So I am reaching out to African immigrants from 10 African nations. They are as follows: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. All I want you to do is read my story. Those that disagree, you're welcome to your opinion, but please delete me off your friends list. And don't come to no events with my name on it. For real. Because I want to connect with like-minded people because we want to solve black issues, not sit up here and complain about the white man and the government. That's what the grassroots community activist movement is all about, ladies and gentlemen. We want to get it popping here in Chicago first. Once I get this business up and running here, I'm going to turn it over to my advisory board or resource team, and I'm going to bring the business over to the African continent, specifically starting in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, But again, I've been pushing my vision and plan for the past 34 years. It's get tiresome, but I refuse to be ignored. This is why I created this platform, so I can be heard loud and clear beyond Chicago.
Mhm.
In my business, we're about separating ourselves from the enemy within. That's con artists, hardened criminals, pedophiles, urban terrorists. I don't want those type of people in my business. So we're going to separate ourselves from those people within our community. Those that want to solve issues, I want to work with you. But why is it taking me so long to get the business up and running? Because a lot of our people, especially black people, don't want to buy the book. I wrote the book in order to generate capital. I created my virtual store in order to generate capital so that way I can hire black people, African people, and others. I've been paying out of pocket for 16 years for this business title, and I still have little to no support for it. And I'm wasting money. In South Africa, they have a 30% unemployment unemployment.
Mhm.
They
Well,
looking for jobs. I want to create jobs in the African in on the African continent in South Africa, but I got to get it popping here in America first. Why? For credibility.
well, listen,
That's what I,
Emmanuel.
hey, hold on,
Well,
please.
hang on a second, because I
This is
do.
what I'm standing on.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What do you want to say, please?
I was just gonna say, I definitely support you, but I do need to jump off and get onto
Okay,
my
go
next
ahead, go ahead.
meeting.
That's
All
what I'm
right
saying.
then.
You can go. Thank you for coming. But hey, that's what I'm on, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't no scams over here. So I keep running across a lot of these small-minded individuals that want to just sit up here and say, "Oh, that sounds like a scam." Well, if you feel like this is a scam, delete me off your friends list and go on about your business. So I'm putting this stuff out here. And again, ladies and gentlemen, those that work with me, especially be a part of our film project, will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. You have my word on that. But again, God give us free will. It doesn't matter how bad I want to get this business up and running. Without financial support from the black grassroots and the global African family, I cannot do my job. My job is to um, recruit brave and smart, like-minded black Americans, brave and smart, like-minded African immigrants that's going to work with me directly in getting this business popping in the city of Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. Um, so with that being said, again, if you want to be on my virtual interactive conference, the panel, make sure that you send me your email address to my Facebook inbox, and I will give you specific instructions about how to do that. All right, that's what I that's what I'm looking for. That's important. With that being said, peace and blessings, and we'll see you on the next time. And that's going to conclude our show for today.